We moved from Wisconsin to Tennessee and were adopted by a family in the local Presbyterian church. We had a lot of fun with that family. They were a party family. They really were. Well, the father of that whole family was a retired Presbyterian minister, but Art never really retired. They always would come along and say, hey, we need a minister over here. Will you fill in? Will you do this? Will you do? And Art always said yes. Art had a twinkle in his eye and full of mischief. Just one of those people, you never knew what was coming next. And his wife was exactly the same way. The two of them were just fun to be around. They're the most caring people you would ever meet, but they were just full of the dickens. Well, Art had two churches that he had to go to, and they were quite a ways away. And I volunteered to drive him this one particular Sunday. So we drove, it was about 40 minutes away to the first church. And he went in and he did his ministerial thing, preached and did all of that stuff. And as they were leaving, one of the parishioners said, you know, that Charlie is in the hospital down at Etowah, and I think it's pretty serious. So maybe you could stop in and visit him on your way home. And I said, yeah, we can do that. No problem at all. No. So then we took a 20-minute ride up to the next church. And that's kind of an interesting situation. This was a service. The children in the choir and that church could not all get up in front of the congregation. And they said, you know, you need to make it bigger up here. You really need to expand, push the back wall out so we can all get up there. Well, the session thought about it and they said, yeah, we can do that, but we got to have some money. Well, the kids, as Art put it, they went out into the graveyard in the back. And what they did was get names of families that were members of that church for a long time. And they went to those families asking for money to move that back wall out. And they got the required number of dollars. And they had moved that back wall out. And this was kind of a dedication service. The children's choir got up there and they had plenty of room and they sang. And it was a very happy service. And in situations like that, they had a potluck after the service. Well, I'm thinking to Art, gee, we need to stop at the hospital. And Art didn't care. Art liked to eat. And so did I. I mean, I never was at a bad potluck in my life. I never found a bad dish. Well, then we left there finally, and we stopped at the hospital. Well, we went where we were told to go to the kind of the side door, and waiting for us in the lobby was a brother of the person who was in the ICU. We walked in the door, and the brother told Art, he just died. The whole family was back there at this time to be with him. Well, Art says, sure, well, come on, to the brother. Brother says, no, I don't do death well. I'll stay out here. So I said to Art, I'll stay out here with him. And we stayed out and talked. Art went into the room, closed the door. Couldn't have been more than 10 minutes. Gales of laughter from in that room. I mean, this was gales of laughter. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, this guy just died and you guys are all laughing, having a good time? Well, about 10 or 15 minutes later, they all come out. Tears running down their cheeks, smiles on their face. When we got in the car, I said to Art, what in the world did you do? And he says, well, my wife and this guy knew each other, and they used to get into mischief all the time. And I just happened to say, you know, I know where he is, and I wonder what the two of them are up to. All of a sudden, the whole room, the humor came along because they knew exactly what he was talking about. And the gales of laughter that we heard, all of a sudden, it became a celebration. This man had passed, yes. He was a very old gentleman, and he and uh, Art's wife had known each other. I don't remember what the deal was. They'd grown up together or something, but it was just a good time. And that was the way Art was. Relationships, and he was a street preacher. He had been around the block, and whatever had happened to you, he knew something about. That's just the kind of preacher he was. I still miss Art Flug, and I remain forever Santa.